What's up everybody, Greg here with Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the Westcott FLEX Cine LED panels, specifically the RGBW one, which I have with me right here. But before we get into that, make sure you stick all the way to the end of this video. There's something new that I'm super excited to share and start doing with you, so definitely check that out. Now let's roll that intro. This light takes everything that we love about the original 1x2 and adds some awesome upgrades. The first thing to note is that this light is a full RGB spectrum, meaning that you have your red, green, and blue channels as well as your white light. So you can basically make any color you want in the visible spectrum, with super accurate colors and a CRI and TLCI over 97 throughout the whole white light range. You also get a really good output of 3500 lux at 1 meter or 3 feet. Now this is 400 lux less than the daylight only version, but you sacrifice a little bit of that output for all of the flexibility of the colors that you can get with this panel. And it's flicker free throughout the whole range up to 960 frames per second. At first glance, the Flex Cine panel looks very similar to the original one, but they've definitely added some really nice touches to make this even easier to mount and more flexible in more situations. Starting with the corners, there's magnets and grommets in each of them, which makes it really easy to hang in pretty much anywhere. On the back, Westcott has added a more robust cable system, which is a huge upgrade from the original one, which is prone to breaking off and ripping those cables out of the back. And they've also added an extra strap to sort of hold that cable down and in the right direction. It has a really solid weather rating of IP64, which means it's completely dust and dirt resistant, and then it can take some splashing, so if it starts to rain a little bit, you're not gonna have to worry about any water damaging this light fixture. You're definitely not gonna wanna submerge it or have any high pressure water sprayed at it. The flex panel itself is super thin, only about 1/3 of an inch, which is like a small stack of paper, and it weighs less than 3 pounds. Actually, this probably even weighs less than like 2 pounds without the frame or anything else on it. And of course, it's still flexible, so you can bend it and twist it and adapt it into wherever you're shooting. Moving on to some of the powering options for the Flex panel, you really have two options. The first one is AC power, so plugging it into a wall, pretty standard for most lights, or you can run it off of V-mount battery. Now, Westcott has started to create their own batteries, which is these 26 volt, 150 watt hour batteries, which you need the 26 volt ones to run the 1x2 and the 2x2, and you get a pretty good runtime on these batteries. And it's also not the standard V-mount batteries you're gonna have on set when you're using cameras. Those are only 14 volts. So just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about powering options. Another big upgrade to this light is the new dimmer box, which you have your DMX control, as well as a D-pad with an LCD screen for all of your navigation. And the really great thing about this dimmer box is it can read whichever light you're choosing from. So you don't need to have a specific one for the light that you're using. I can take this one, use it on the 1x2, take it off, switch it over and use it on the 2x2, and it's gonna work perfectly fine. On the back side, you have that V-mount plate, so you can either use the 26 volt V-mount batteries, or you buy a separate adapter that mounts onto the V-mount and then plugs into the wall to give it AC power. The dimmer has 120 gels built into it, as well as doing your RGB control on individual channels. And if that's not enough, or it's not easy enough, you can download an app called Luminaire, which allows you to really easily and wirelessly and remotely select your colors and change them on different lights. The downside to that app is that it is pretty expensive at $100. But if you're using this light often enough, it's definitely worth picking that up. And it doesn't just work with Westcott lights, it works with other wireless lights as well. If you love the original Flex panels, then you're definitely gonna love these new Cine versions with the more mounting options, more control, as well as having the dimmer box that's universal instead of having to have a specific one. It just makes everything easier and work better, and you have unlimited color options with the RGB version. Okay, now let's talk about the quirks. While there's a lot to love about this light, I have found a few things while testing them out over the past couple weeks. The first one is the powering options. While they run off battery as their main source of power, that's super great because it's really portable, but using the 26 volt power system is not as common as the 14 volt batteries that you're seeing on set, which are used to run cameras and other accessories. So you need to have specific batteries for these lights. Also, being a higher wattage, you can't take them on planes with you, and you can't ship them in the air, so they have to go ground, which makes it take longer to get to your destination if you want to ship them. Also, using the 2x2 at full power with one of these V-mount batteries, you maybe get an hour and a half out of it, which isn't a ton of runtime. So if you want to be using a lot of output, you definitely want to switch over to the AC power option. But using the 1x2 with the RGB modes and using different colors, you actually get quite a bit of runtime out of those colors. You could basically run all day off one of these batteries if you're just using it as a small accent, not as a full power main source. The other thing that's always been really tricky about the Flex lights is using the frame and mounting them on a stand. I would highly recommend getting the new yoke system they released alongside these Flex lights. to allow you to tilt and sort of move it around in a better way than just mounting it directly to a light stand or using the ball head that they had before. It just makes it so much easier to move around and adjust, and you don't have to worry about the mounts breaking off and getting stuck in the frame. The last thing that I want to mention is the cost of all of these lights, because there's 3 different ones in the series. The first one is your RGBW one, which I've been showing you today, and that one costs $1,500, and that gets you all of the different color options. The next one is the Bicolor version, which gets you all of your white light from 2800 Kelvin all the way up to 6000 Kelvin, and that one runs $1,100. And then lastly is the daylight only version at 5600 Kelvin, and that's going to run you about $850. All of these lights come with the redesign and new build of the Cine versions. You just get different color options with the LEDs depending on what you need to do. Now before you leave, I need to tell you about the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. I have put a code in the description box below, which is a one-time use, so first come, first serve, for a free 1-week rental of all of these different light models. And I'm going to be doing this on a lot of the new gear videos going forward, so if you want to be the first one to get your hands on the newest gear for free, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification so you get notified when we put up new videos, so you can be the first one to grab that code. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this new Flex Cine panel, as well as this new code idea. Now get out there and shoot, and I'll see you in the next one.